Good morning. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about survival knives and why I really don't care for that term so much. On our podcast the other day, we were talking about a particular blogger that came out with some recommendations concerning a survival knife. You know, he had a certain criteria that he had, and then he listed 10 knives. Some people were a little bit offended because they weren't on the list, and I kind of got a kick out of that, but here's my thoughts on the whole thing. First off, he had a set of criteria that was a reasonable set of criteria, and half the knives on his list didn't meet that criteria. So it leads me to believe that there was something fishy there. The other thing that kind of bugged me was the fact that he had links in his blog to some Amazon stores, which I'm going to take a wild guess and say that he more than likely was on some kind of a program where if a link or a reader came from his blog and bought a knife, he probably gets a percentage of it, which is nothing wrong with that. That's, the American way. That's how we do things. With all of that being said, the one thing that still kind of bugs me is the term survival knife. Because most of the time, if you're in a survival situation, you didn't plan on being there. A real survival situation, you did not plan on being there. And you have whatever it is that you have on you at that particular moment in time to get yourself out of it. A lot of times what you find is it's your brain that's the survival knife. That's the cutting edge. That's the thing that's going to separate you as a survivor from the people that don't. And when I say these kinds of situations, what I'm talking about a survival situation would be not going camping, not getting lost and spending the night in the woods because you were hunting. Survival situation would be like, you're on an airplane with your teammates and you crash in the Andes. There's absolutely no chance anybody's going to find you, and you end up eating half your teammates. Okay? You can't practice those survival skills. That's a mental toughness that comes along with some other kind of training. Obviously, you can't train for a situation like that. The only thing you can do is keep your mind sharp. That's it. And try to avoid those types of situations. And they're kind of difficult sometimes to avoid. Obviously, I'm sure that soccer team didn't plan on having lunch in the Andes. We just had this spring. We had a couple of ladies that went missing for 2 weeks. They went off the road. They thought they were on a dry road, but they ended up on a seasonal road, and they got their car stuck. And if anybody knows the UP, the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, you'll know that there are roads that people don't go on until late in the spring. And my guess is that they were on one of those roads. Guess what? They didn't have a survival knife. So if you're carrying a survival knife, more than likely you're not going to be in a situation where you're going to need it. If you're practicing your survival skills, you're really not practicing your survival skills. You're practicing your camping skills, or you're building a fire that's not really survival. It's survival skills, but it's not really survival skills. Because we all know, those were things that were everyday occurrences 200 years ago. Everybody built a fire. Everywhere they went. That was what they did. Today, survival skills are not that. Today's survival skills are having the mental ability to hang on when most people will let go. Survival skills today are if you're in a situation where you're in a car upside down in the water, figuring out how to unbuckle your seatbelt and getting out before the car goes to the bottom. Those are survival skills. it's difficult to train for stuff like that. So that's just my random thoughts for the day. I really don't like using the term survival knife, but you know, it is part of our, seems like it's part of our culture now. So with that, until next time, talk to you soon. Keep your knives sharp and your friends sharper, okay? Keep your brain sharp too. Have a good day.